Our job is to report the news, not fabricate it. That's the government's job.
Right guys, we are back on a story we have covered a few times on the channel and promoted the petition along with others to get the report released in full. Of course, the Home Office Priti Patel and the powers that be decided we are not allowed to see what the report said, and instead they will use the report to draft a paper with so-called experts. In other words, covering it up, which is exactly what we are talking about today. The IOPC, or Independent Office for Police Conduct, have released a report into what happened in Rotherham, and of course South Yorkshire Police's complicity in allowing it to continue. They blame the police for allowing these animals to continue getting away with it, and rightly so. Now where are the social services and local councils who should also be held to account, or at least called out for it? Because I say held to account, but in reality no officers will face disciplinary actions for their failures that have ruined people's lives. Imagine leaving these animals to prey on local kids for 13 years, even covering it up for them and not facing criminal proceedings for it. I mean, they even made a deal with the gang leader to return a girl to the family, which he did, but the police did not arrest him or even question him. I would say, can you believe it? But I expect you all can believe it because we know this sort of thing goes on, and the police forces around this country are at best negligent in it and at worst involved in it, as we have seen elsewhere. I mean, as I said a moment ago, in Rotherham a police officer named Hassan Ali made deals with these animals to return their victim but did not arrest or question them for the serious crimes like rape and kidnap. Maybe he was friends with them, we will never actually know because he died in 2015 and that has allowed him to also escape punishment for it, though the punishment would have literally just been disciplinary action, which in my mind is nowhere near enough. But the Daily Mail reported on it yesterday, so we will go over that. But before we do, I'm going to shamelessly shill my upcoming gaming streams that you guys can actually join. As some of you will know, I did a private battle royale match with viewers the other day, and it was a good laugh. So I will be doing more private matches tonight or tomorrow, along with a special gaming stream later, taking down Joe Biden's 200-year-old voters. It will be pretty funny, so I hope to see some of you there on the gaming channel link below for that, and I will be doing one of them over on the main channel, as you will see later. But enough of that, let's get on with the article. It headlines, Police Failure Left Violent Sex Offender Free to Abuse Young Children in Rotherham Report Finds, but no officer will face disciplinary charges. Which I have to say doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but is fucking completely outrageous. A watchdog investigation centred on the child sexual abuse scandal in Rotherham has found police failures left violent sex offender Dirty Fuckpig free to abuse young children, according to reports. South Yorkshire Police fast knew the child sex abuse gang leader had a number of relationships with young girls in foster care as early as 2000, according to the new report, which has been seen by the Times. And as you will see further down, he was actually arrested in like 2013 or something like that, so they left him alone to do this for 13 fucking years. That is the sort of shit that really pisses me off, especially when they're running round going after gyms and businesses for not closing under the Rona regulations. It's amazing how you can enforce that law and attack people in the street as we've seen with the protests, but you can't take dirty nonce cunts off the fucking streets. That really fucking pisses me off. The investigation found officers, none of whom faced disciplinary charges, also made a deal with Hussein in which he would deliver one of his missing 14-year-old victims to the police. He was not arrested nor questioned when the girl was returned, the report adds. Now if you ask me, every single officer involved in that should be up in court charged with the same crimes as he has, because they have essentially facilitated this criminal committing these crimes. How the fuck is that even a thing? Despite the force's knowledge of the dirty fuckpig, it took police until 2013 to take official action against him, and only after one of his victims had publicly spoken about the abuse she had suffered. A complete legend and someone who has got bigger balls than Boris Johnson, any politician, and 99.9% of these coppers. They are all a bunch of spineless jellyfish in comparison to her. It goes on, Hussein was jailed for 35 years in 2016 for 23 offences against 9 girls, some as young as 11, after his sickening crimes were finally uncovered. Which is exactly why every single police officer that allowed this to happen should be up in court charged with those same crimes. At the end of the day, they facilitated it and were part of it. They allowed him to get away with it and continue doing it. Now after 5 years, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, or IOPC, has released its findings following a complaint against South Yorkshire Police, the Times reports. The complaint was made by sex abuse survivor Sammy Woodhouse, who was groomed by Hussein from the age of 14. She was subjected to unthinkable sexual abuse by then 25-year-old Hussein, who impregnated her in the course of his abuse. Miss Woodhouse waived her right to anonymity as a rape victim in 2017 to expose Dirty Fuckpig and his Dirty Fuckpig grooming gang for what they had done. She also made a complaint against South Yorkshire Police to the IOPC, an independent watchdog which handles complaints against police forces in England and Wales and does absolutely fuck all about them. Because as you can see here, they've massively failed and they have not prosecuted a single one of them, not even disciplinary charges. This is fucking incredible. Now the watchdog has upheld Miss Woodhouse's complaint according to the Times. The IOPC findings say that police failed to deal appropriately with the information which may have led to a suspect being prosecuted at an earlier stage, thereby exposing other children to abuse, as I said, which means they should all be fucking charged with doing it. I can't understand how they just get away with it. The report found the Dirty Fuckpig appeared on police radar as early as 2000, when they were aware of his relationship with Miss Woodhouse, then 14, and her pregnancy. So they are aware that he's having a relationship with a 14-year-old and got her pregnant and did absolutely fuck all about it. Yet, none of them deserve to be held to account for this. Instead, the police force gets a slap on the wrist by the IOPC. At this point, I'm just as pissed off with the IOPC as I am with South Yorkshire Police. It says here though, according to the report, police later brokered a deal with Hussein to return the missing teenager to officers, but he was not arrested nor questioned during the handover. Hassan Ali, the Dirty Fuckpig police officer who brokered the deal, would have been served with a gross misconduct notice for the incident, but died in 2015, the report added. Now, I don't ever wish ill on the dead, but this cunt is kinda lucky he died, because realistically, he should be held to account for what he did there. Other missed opportunities highlighted in the report include a multi-agency meeting which was scheduled to take place about Hussein, though there were no records to show that it did. Because obviously they didn't. They had to stop for the sake of fucking diversity, didn't they? These people are really starting to piss me off. South Yorkshire Police accepted the findings according to the Times, while Miss Woodhouse told the paper it was a bittersweet moment, adding that the suffering of so many more girls and their families could have been prevented. The force's Assistant Chief Constable Lauren Poltony said, "We're deeply sorry that Sammy was not identified as a victim at the time of the abuse against her or consistently given the support she should have been provided." Well, they knew from the year 2000 and did absolutely fuck all about it until like 2013. What the fuck are you actually on about? How can you say she was not identified as a victim when police officers knew as early as 2000 and you didn't do shit until 2013? The Dirty Fuckpig wasn't put in prison until 2016, for fuck's sake. These police officers just do more and more each day to really piss me off, it seems. She goes on though, Sammy's bravery and courage in speaking out about her experiences has shaped the police in response to child sexual exploitation. Yeah, in other words, they're going to try and do a better job of covering it up in future. We now have a deeper knowledge and understanding of the issues and a determination to address these without fear or favour, as is demonstrated by our convictions against those who abused her. Yeah, but you did that eventually. You didn't do it when you fucking should have. Instead, you made little deals and let them get away with it, practically showing them they were above the law and could just continue, which obviously they fucking did. Now, I know some of yous don't like swearing, but practically I don't give a fuck. These people really piss me off. It goes on, that said, Sammy should not have had to suffer this abuse at all, and when it became apparent, she should have had the full force of South Yorkshire Police to support and protect her, and to bring the justice she deserved. Yes, she should have, but instead you turned the other cheek for the sake of diversity, so that you didn't look racist, even though upholding the fucking law is not racist in any way, you stupid cunts. Miss Woodhouse grew up in Rotherham and was groomed by child sex gang leader Dirty Fuckpig Hussein when she was just 14 years old. She was subjected to horrendous abuse, including rape and assaults, and Hussein also coerced her by threatening to kill her family. He also forced her to rob a post office aged 15, and when police raided Hussein's home later that year, they found her in bed with him but failed to arrest him and charged her with possession of a baton. So, he's in bed with a 15-year-old girl, which last time I checked makes him a dirty nonce cunt, and they just left him there, while charging the underage girl with possession of a baton. What the actual fuck is wrong with South Yorkshire Police? After years of abuse, she approached the Times anonymously with her claims, leading to the J inquiry, which exposed the Rotherham grooming gang and led to the discovery of more than 1,400 victims between 1997 and 2013. Hussein, as I said, was eventually jailed for 35 years. He is now in a wheelchair after surviving a shooting. That is unfortunate, and not that he's in a wheelchair either. And that is the end of the article there. It really pisses me off that the police have done such a cock-up on this, and the Independent Police Office for Conduct, or whatever they're called has completely ballsed it up and let everyone get away with it. As I've covered recently, there is actually another petition out there that you can support. That is calling for a public inquiry into this shit show. I will link it down below. But if you ask me, this just goes to show the IOPC is not fit for purpose and should be disbanded and created a new one that will actually hold people to account for the balls ups that they make. Or in this case, I would go as far as to say it's not even a balls up. I would say this is what they were trying to do. They were trying to cover it up. Because obviously, they didn't want to appear racist despite the fact that upholding the law is not racist in any way.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.